Hey everyone, this is Zach Broussard. I know a lot of you tune into this podcast to hear my voice. I have terrible news for you. I am still out of town. And by out of town, I mean sick in bed with a terrible virus. And it's not the virus you think. It's not COVID. I have got RSV, but my cat is fine. Mochi is, I'm alive. Mochi, let me do this again. It's so bad. I feel like I got rushed into it. Maybe that's it.
Welcome to PuzzyBoyz, the only and therefore number one podcast for real men who love their real cats. I'm Danny Solomon, and my petable muffin is named Marv.
My name is Adam Newman, and my squishable squishies are Greg and Holiday.
My name is Nick Maritato. I have the cutest cat of all of them, and her name is Lily. And I am Fan Quack.
Oh, no. I don't know what order these are coming out in.
Listeners to the last episode might want to reference that one because we don't have Zach Broussard
We
again.
don't have Zach Broussard again, unfortunately.
He's been sick a while.
He's not so sick that he hasn't been here in weeks.
Actually, I think he might be. He told us he was having fever dreams.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. All right. So, well, we might not have him for a couple more episodes. I don't know. Let's hope he gets better. Let's all... What do you do if you don't believe in God to get someone to get better?
Oh, God. I normally pray it away, but...
I know.
I guess if you don't believe in God, just start jacking, man. You know, there's no reason not to.
Jack your way off this mortal coil.
It is interesting, and we won't...
Everybody just jag off and think of Zach, and hopefully he'll get better.
That's really... It's
His whole
like,
family.
it's a-
Think of the whole family.
It's like how Tinkerbell comes back to life.
Yeah, you think he'll hear, like, just a ringing in his ears a little bit? Like, if you're...
a tingling in his...
Yeah, his
Hip.
balls are ringing.
But you fought us so hard a couple episodes ago to do an in-person episode, and if we would all had this crazy sickness that Zach has.
Yeah, but I already had it, so I was fine.
I figured that was what it was.
And I didn't really need you guys to be anything but present and ready to go. And if it meant you guys getting sick, so be it.
And don't worry, we were just kidding. Fan Quoc, the Vietnamese soup maker from a few episodes ago, is not in the room. That was a joke. That was a joke.
He did cook 300 cats into a soup, and we are against that. We
That's
decided.
right.
I don't know. How would you feel better or worse if he cooked 300 cats into one soup, or he made 300 different batches of cat soup?
I think if it's into one soup, that's a chili, my man.
That's a lot of meat. That's a lot of meat. That's a lot of $2 extra for extra cat.
Yeah, it's true. Now that's not funny at all.
No, and
No, I didn't think that was
didn't
funny.
laugh.
So we
that
didn't
that
laugh.
was the
Not once.
that was one of Nick's drops.
That's right. We have to move quickly move to our first segment, which is called This Week in Cat. I have one.
Go for it.
So, okay, my cat loves birds. Lily loves birds, but usually likes to watch them every so often.
As opposed to what?
Well, we'll talk about
I
it.
guess
As
you could
opposed to
listen to
studying them, reading
Yeah.
ornithology books.
Every so often, some sort of a bird or a leaf will get close enough to what her flat screen television is, which is the window, and she'll lunge at it and put paws on the glass. And I'm always like, oh wow, it's interesting. She lies in wait so long that I forget that she has sort of instincts that is to claw to kill or whatever she wants to do if she got that bird. She never has. So the other day, Ashley decided to just search YouTube for, I don't know what it was, just like cat, like videos for cats or something like that.
Yeah.
And there is like a Study Beats style, like live video. Like, you know how if you're like Study Beats and it's just like somebody is playing live 24 hours stuff to study to. Well, there is one for cats. There's multiple where somebody is just playing visuals and sounds, live stream 24/7 of things for cats.
Yeah.
And Ashley, I was actually editing our podcast, and Ashley put this on in the other room, and she yells, "Nick, quick, come here." And my fucking cat is watching TV. Like sitting there watching TV. It's always my TV is always on, and we're sitting on our couch or wherever watching the TV, and Lily is sitting on like her couch watching us. That's usually how it is. She sits and just watches us like it's MTV's The Challenge,
Which is what's usually on.
which is what's usually on. So I never even thought that she could recognize.
I
the
always
TV.
wonder that too. You see so many cats on whatever YouTube videos who are like chasing a tennis player or a hockey player or something. Like when there's like a dark thing in a light background and they're moving around a lot, I'm like, they get that, but I otherwise they don't seem interested in the screen at all.
Well, to me, based on Danny's research on this podcast, I now know that cats can kind of see like humans can see. I always assumed that whatever was going on in their eyeballs, it's just like we are not seeing the same thing. We look like polygons to cats.
I don't think they're seeing ghosts. I just think they're constantly seeing a whole world of spirits around us.
Well, that's definitely happening, but they're fully formed. Like they can see the entire the very clear shapes of the specters and all of the other things in front of them. So they're not just like blocky or blobs or anything like that. They're like in high def.
And then she fucking jumped at the TV and started swatting and trying to attack the TV.
Yeah.
It was crazy to the point where I was like, oh, wait. She now is going to just do this forever. Like
Maybe.
I can't
If you
turn
leave
this
the show on.
Right, I couldn't. So I was like, quick, Ash, turn it off, turn the channel. And like we shut it off. She still chilled by the TV, like waiting to swipe and swat. So activated by whatever this quote unquote cat YouTube channel this was.
So I always assume, and I still think this, that when the reason why Marv likes to go outside and look, or just look out windows, which most cats do, if not all of them, is that that's their TV. That's like seeing outside is like them watching TV. So I watch TV all day. It's only fair that Marv should get to go on the porch and watch his TV. But then if you're willing to put something like, we have a video that we put on sometimes when we leave, which is just a tree stump. And it's a very active tree stump with a lot of different animals running around, with squirrels, birds, you name it.
It's not a Tracy Lords porno from the mid-90s.
No, but I would. Those are out of circulation
That's right.
because she was underage.
That's illegal.
So
I don't
can't have that.
know this reference, and it sounds like that's probably good.
It's a Danny thing.
Yeah, it's just me. But this is like the hottest porn to Marv, I guess, or not really. It's like Breaking Bad to Marv.
Describe this stump.
It's a tree stump that's it's pretty thick, and it's about a foot high, and and like all these. It's got a wooded background, and it's just all these woodland creatures are milling around it.
Cartoon?
No,
This is live action.
this is real. This was
real.
taped, and a real American tree stump.
Do they bait the tree stump with like?
I think it's a hot
Food?
area anyway for animals, but yeah, I'm sure they throw in a little bit of incentive for some of these guys to fly around and
Do you
hang
think
out.
like Marv's like one of his like big dreams is to like have you take him to the stump one day? It's kind of like going to see The Price is Right or something like that.
Yeah, he's
Like,
always
it's
dreamed
a lot
about.
smaller in person.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I could take him to any stump too. He's kind of stupid,
You got to make sure those animals are milling about.
but like, he sees these types of animals when we go out on the porch anyway. So it's almost like he has two TVs when we turn that TV on. He can see outside the windows and see there's
I
a
don't wanna
hummingbird.
brag, but we actually have two TVs.
That's very
Whoa.
cool.
Yeah.
I have a monitor and a TV. Does that count? I could like hook up something to the monitor.
I have a projector in my bedroom that I can hook up to my laptop, and it projects against the opposite wall, and Marv would probably like that.
Well,
Yeah.
did you ever put the stump on the projector?
Haven't done that yet.
Well, now you
That's
have-
a good thing to do.
You got homework.
You
I
ever
just
put
think
the stump on a monitor, and she's like, "What the fuck is up with this? You got a 50-inch color TV, and I'm looking at a fucking monitor."
No, that's a Dell 22-inch monitor.
I think Marv would know the difference too between between the stump in the bedroom and the stump in the living room.
So now that you're saying this, and yes, I did make that point 2 minutes before you did, but yes, the window was like her screen, her TV. Now, what I'm realizing, since you said the stump is kind of like Marv's window, Marv's TV, is that this person on the YouTube channel, whoever the creator is, if you could call them that, has created almost like a hyper window.
Yeah, it's the perfect window.
It's literally the same thing that she looks at with trees and birds flying around, but it's on like 2.5 speed. Like these birds are flying through every couple of seconds.
Yeah.
So active in there.
Sometimes I'll take Marv out to the porch and there's just nothing going on. There's none of the fun stuff that he likes to look at. There's no squirrels, there's no birds. And
that happened to us, and that's when we started watching like Jerry Springer and stuff after school. Like we were like, there's nothing going on out here.
Yeah, so he's getting disappointed by that experience. But if he was watching the TV and we put the Stump channel on, he's guaranteed to have something to watch.
TV.
Yeah.
What's coming up next on Stump TV?
Honestly, we should consider, and we always do every episode, consider a completely new direction to take this podcast that's not podcasting.
Production company.
Content creation for cats. KKK.
Now,
I refuse to believe
that. There's no K words.
I also refuse to believe that it is a stump out in the wild. I believe it's a set.
It's a set, yeah.
It's gotta be
I
a
think
set.
it probably is. The background looks a little like fake, but it also, the lens is sort of focused in on the stump and the animals coming through, so that kind of would make the background look fake. So
Right off camera, it's just a fucking PA just slightly pushing a squirrel.
pushing a tiny little chipmunk or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
an orphaned chipmunk that they've bottle raised and isn't afraid of people.
the longest that we watched this channel was for like half an hour, just like when we basically were first getting into it and letting Marv enjoy it. And it took that long, but eventually a little rabbit came by.
Oh.
And so that's like for the real like heads
That's
of
for
this
the-
show.
That's like it's kind of like edging.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You stick around long enough, you'll see the rabbit.
It's a good get, for the casting
It's like
people.
yeah.
They're like, you think we can get a rabbit?
Celebrity cameo.
Quiet on the set. We have the rabbit.
We got the rabbit for half an hour. That's all we have him for.
What is the limit of animals that a cat would be interested in watching on TV? Also, like, is like a big hairy spider? Like, would a cat be interested in that?
I'd say that cats are not really that interested in cats on TV.
Definitely not.
Now, I've caught dogs watching the Westminster Dog Show. I've caught it multiple times in my life. It's on, and a dog kind of looking up at a TV. I know twice that I've seen it. Now, I don't think Lily would have any interest in a cat unless that cat was meowing.
And we'll talk about this in today's episode, but cats don't generally use meowing to communicate with each other.
Editing this podcast, sometimes I'll throw like an extra loud sort of meow in as like a transition. Kind of sounds like this. And Lily has looked up. Like, what's the deal? I've listened to cat videos before where cats are purring really loud or meowing, and I have seen Lily kind of come up and be like, who are you talking to here? Mm-hmm. What is the deal?
That's the thing. She's not interested in the cat meowing because of the cat. She's interested in the cat meowing because it's a cat trying to horn in on her parents who are trying to steal you away from her.
That is interesting.
That's why they rub on you. That's all that stuff
we're
is to present ownership.
We're gonna talk about that today. But Adam, you had something.
I got it this week in cat.
Please.
I don't know. I don't know how often you guys do this. It's been I don't know how long have I had Greg? 5 or 6 years. I did my first deep clean of the litter box.
Oh,
I know you're looking at me like this is gross. This might be
No,
gross.
no.
I
expected this to be a deep clean of like his nails, or I thought you were doing something on.
No,
Greg
this was
himself.
a weird thing. So he has a the one we have that you guys have seen in our bathroom. It's that like Mod Cat. It looks like an Apple product it's like a nice top loading litter box that I got when he was a kitten, and I don't know how often you're supposed to change the liner in there, but I've never
Once a month.
I've never changed it. And but there's also, it doesn't smell weird. Everything seems fine, but I was like, you know what? I got to change that. And so I just went on like Amazon. I found the refills and they like weren't expensive, and I'm like, let's do it. And so I did it. I took it out. I Lysoled the whole thing. I put a new liner in there, and when I was finished with it, I put it down. It literally felt like when you know what? It's like for me, it felt like when I was in college and I lived in the dorms, and it was like right after they left and they had just cleaned the bathrooms, and you're like, here we go, time to poop, and it's okay if something touches the seat.
Did you ever poop at school?
This was in college in the dorms, but I'm actually I'm trying to work on a bit where I have never pooped at school. Kindergarten through college, I never pooped at school.
Wow.
And I did it so many times. School was a very nerve-wracking experience for me. So in high school, I was pooping a lot. In the beginning of the day, it would just like, almost like a Pavlovian thing. It would just come to me. And
I would have said I was sick and gone home.
Well, taking a shit at school is very dangerous because the bullies will descend upon you.
Yeah.
And the bullies love to be in that bathroom.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen?
It's kind of like shitting in their clubhouse.
I know. They're offended that you would even be there,
which
let
is
alone.
insane. Let them shit.
It's the shitter.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Airborne, the rock and rollerblade movie?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So there's a whole thing where he's in there taking a shit, and I think the bullies come in there and they dump water over the stalls, like onto the toilet paper and stuff, so they
Jack
can't
Black's
use it.
one of them.
Jack Black is one of them. Yeah. Seth Green's in that movie.
Yeah. That happened to me. Like that exact thing.
They look under the thing and they see your airwalks, and they're gonna fuck with you.
How did you know that I had?
You're an airwalk guy.
You're right.
You're an airwalk guy.
So not
You
to
were
make
an
this,
airwalk guy, I think, up until you were doing stand-up in New York.
Airwalks, cargo shorts, the Kevin Smith T-shirt with hoodie open combination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't changed that much. You are in a cool bomber jacket, though.
It is cool. At least this is a there's nothing on this shirt. It's just a solid color. I used to have like Dragon Ball Z guys, and like I used to make my own shirts, and I would iron on like sayings that I wanted to put on shirts. And
what sayings? Do you remember any
one
sayings?
of them was "kick the Sandman in his sack" because I was a big Insomniac fan. I had one that said, I had one that said, "No, you are."
Okay.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. What year did I meet you?
2012.
And
No.
earlier than that. Might be earlier. Maybe you're a little earlier.
Oh no, you're right. 20.
Maybe
08.
11.
08.
Oh, was it 08?
I was going to
That's
say,
when I
you moved
moved,
to
yeah.
New York. Yeah, it got to be 07, 08.
So, and it's the year 2024, and every day you can surprise me with a new little bit of your childhood that makes me feel a little bad for you, but I then become overcome with joy because you've gotten through it.
Yeah,
You're a
I'm
married man. You have a wonderful cat.
I'm bringing it, and I'm basically married to my cat, and I have a beautiful wife.
Thruple.
That's right.
But yes, I'm over it, and therefore I can bring it to you guys,
Dude.
for gentle ribbing.
This idea that you were making your own shirts, how did you sit on this one for over 10 years?
I mean, this was one. These are many. I have pictures. One of the pictures of me on that used to be my Twitter handle. Now I don't have a Twitter anymore, but it was a picture
Young
of me,
fat Danny.
young fat with a giant afro that
Oh,
I
I-
had the entirety of high school.
I've saved that picture to my phone on since my my iPhone 6.
Well, then look closely at what my shirt says, buddy, because it says "No, you are," and the "U" is underlined.
Nick just thought that was like a no fear shirt or
Yeah.
something.
It
course
was
I
not.
did.
I made it myself. I went to a screen printing place all the time. There was one time where I had them take an anatomical diagram of a woman's uterus and put it on a shirt. I thought it was funny, and then I wore it to school, and I was never allowed to wear it again.
but they let you wear it the whole day.
What's the joke?
Well, I couldn't take my shirt off. It was just like
no
look,
uterus are?
It was like it wasn't. Thank you. That is good. But that's I should have done that. No, I just thought it was funny to be like, I love pussy or whatever.
Oh
but it's
my
like,
God.
no, this is the. But it's like making fun of the guys who act like that.
Yeah.
Here is the
All right.
anatomically
Okay,
correct and
there's a-
explicit version of
There's
that.
some feminism
Yeah.
buried in there.
There's something in there.
I was raised by my mommy.
That's right.
She taught me right from wrong.
Wow.
And she drove you to go get that uterus shirt made.
And
Yeah.
no, you are. Is that just kind of like you would point to the shirt when somebody would call you the F word?
I said it's the perfect comeback. That's what I would always say. People would be like, "Why do you have that on a shirt?" I'd be like, "It's the perfect comeback."
Wow, man. I mean, how many shirts do you think you made?
13. But we were talking about shitting in public
of
places.
course.
That's where
Let's
we
get back
came
to what
from.
this podcast is about.
Cats.
Shit.
Pooping at
Yes.
school.
Yeah.
Well, they do have litter boxes at school now.
Oh, they better.
No, that's not it. We're not gonna
If
do
you
that.
watch enough Gutfeld,
Yeah.
So,
Oh my god. Is he related to Garfield?
yeah, Gutfield.
He's Garfield's right wing brother-in-law.
Has anybody ever made like a mashup of just like the Gutfeld and the
the
Garfield?
We have a lot of work to do.
Should
after
we
this.
make a T-shirt that says Gutfield and it just is
with
the
the like American flag like exclamation point,
but
and
all
a
in
star?
like Comic Sans bubble?
Yes, my God,
Gutfield over
yes.
at lasagna.
Shit. Listen, we're getting crazy right now, but can we go back to your This Week in Cat? You did a deep clean.
I did deep clean. I was just curious. I like, all of us are cleaning our litter boxes close to daily at least. We clean it every day. How often? And I always read every 2 weeks, every month, change out all the litter. We very rarely do that. The cats don't seem to complain. We're not getting any weird smells out of there. I'm just curious how often you guys do a deep clean of the litter.
I do it like 1 to 2 months. I mean,
Wow.
it's like an oil change. It's kind of like, okay, they tell you 3,000 miles, but sometimes you can drive it for a few other thousand miles if you want to.
Yeah.
But it's still hanging over my head that I need to do it.
What are you speaking of? Just a full change of the litter? Or
I'm talking about
washing the box.
I take the entire box. It's one of those. It's a classic one where it's got the 3-pan system, the sifter, and then the 2 pans. So I just take all of that out. I move the remaining litter into one of the boxes, clean out all the rest of the stuff, put the litter that's been sifted back into the original. Once it's been cleaned, add more litter, add some of those stink crystals. And then that's what I call cleaning. I think it's cleaning because
That's
on
good.
the underside of the sifter there's a lot of caked pee there. There's a lot of pee that the cat has stepped on and that is not getting brought up by the scoop.
I found the 3 sifter thing. We did it for a little bit. I found it to be. It was hard to clean. A lot of stuff got trapped.
Yeah. There's self-cleaning litter boxes that we could all get tomorrow, but if all it is once every 2 months, I got to do a pretty yucky scrape job of my cat's urine, so be it.
See, I like the idea with these liners that mine come with now. It's like really every few months I should just take the whole liner, toss it, put a new liner in, fill it up, which is what I'm doing. But what I expected to pull up the line, because I haven't done it in 5 years, I expected to pull up the liner and just see like either caked pee or I was worried just like mold or something.
Or like another cat.
Yeah, yeah. And there was
Like one
nothing.
of Greg's kids.
Oh, there's where pockets went.
Yeah,
Hey, pockets.
yeah. It was, yeah.
You want to jump in this soup?
Once you know a cat's going to be in a soup, naming it is just so much funnier.
Well, okay, so I change my litter completely, probably more than I should, and that is out of kind of laziness. And I think I'm losing money. It should be something that I work on more.
Like you're dumping it instead of scooping it?
I will dump the litter probably every 9 days, something like that.
Wow,
and do
I'm blown away
And
by
then do
you
a
guys.
full new litter. Now, am I scrubbing the box? No. We don't have a liner. It's just straight box. But we change our box like every 6 months.
I have noticed that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think it started with the fact that like we had your box, the box that you're talking about. It's the one in your bathroom.
Yeah.
The climb
We
in.
had that first in Brooklyn when we first got our cat, and there was some sort of spraying that was going on, and we were told like she doesn't like the style of box. It's like she doesn't want to get all the way in like that, and so we changed it to a regular style box, and then realized quickly, well, that lid is pretty important. So we had to find a different box, which is like a side loader that you would go in. It had a lid. And ever since then, anytime there's any weirdness that goes on with my cat and litter, like Ashley and I quickly decide that maybe her box, we shouldn't keep that box around.
So kind of what you were saying is that the stuff that Lily was doing originally to the old box was her communicating with you that she didn't like what her litter box was.
What a transition.
was
What a
configured as.
transition.
I mean, that does transition us perfectly into our topic, which is cat soup.
We've had a bunch of you write in your best recipes, and we're going to read them all for you now.
No, today, Dan, we are talking about cat communication.
CommuniCatting.
CatMunic.
We all tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've actually touched on it a little bit already. But there are so many different ways that your cat tries to communicate with us and different ways that it tries to communicate with other cats in the world. And we're going to talk a little bit about it right now.
Yeah, I think the main question is, do you talk to your cat?
Constantly.
And I do too. I think there's no harm in it. If he understands me, if he doesn't, talking with Marv is therapeutic for me. And I think he gets the energy. We're having fun. I think we have like, a tone that we use when we're upset. And if I'm not using that, then he's just like, maybe he's hearing like blah, 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 or whatever, is coming out of my mouth. And he's just like, all right, I guess the guy wants to tell me something, and he'll figure it out. Or if Marv is meowing at me, I try to figure out what he wants. And that's the level of communication you can have with your cat. You can kind of be talking.
You're paying it like I think I think they're just happy. We don't understand everything the other one's saying, but we are aware that the other one is paying attention to us. Like Greg knows that I'm paying attention to him. I know he's paying attention to me, and so we're interacting, if not if for a better word than communicating sometimes.
Yeah, and cats. We may have said this 100 times already, but cats meowing is not something they do. Like feral cats don't meow because they don't get told, or they don't learn that meowing leads to getting things that you want. Whereas if a cat lives with you, with a human, they meow all the time because they're hearing your voice and they're like, all right, this is kind of what he's talking.
Do you think they figure that out, or they learn? Because we've all seen tiny little kittens do that.
They do it with their mothers. Yeah, they do it like at a young age, and then it either works for them or it doesn't. Yeah, and so when they get adopted and they're in your house, they're meowing and you're reacting to the meow.
Plus, I have read before, and when I say read, saw a BuzzFeed video about how you're not supposed to meow at your cats because it confuses them.
Right.
But I've done that since
it's kind of fun.
Forever. You got to meow back at them.
I like, you've said this before, that sometimes you refer to Greg as a dog.
Sure,
I think that's
call him
fun.
puppy all the time. Yeah.
Like, little jokes like that. I think it keeps us sharp as comedians and for this show. And then also it's just like a fun way to interact with your cat. No stakes. Natalie gets mad at me for cursing.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Do you say cursing or cussing? I never know
I
which
say
one
cursing.
Yeah, I'll say cursing.
I say fucking swearing.
Yeah, all right. And I do it all. Curse, cuss, swear. Tell Marv to fuck off. It's fun. I tell him I'm going to kill him all the time. I think that's funny. I'm like, I will stab you and we'll make you into a soup.
My joke has always been, we're going to bring you back to the shelter.
That's fun too.
That's a fun one. Would never do any of these things.
But then every time I do it, Natalie's always like, don't talk to him like that. And it's like what? He just heard air come out of me.
Ashley doesn't like, I've said fuck you to Lily a few times. Ashley doesn't really like it either.
I'm going to make you into a soup is absolute. And I know that wasn't even this episode. That was that was our soup episode, but I am going to start saying that a lot.
It's really funny. I threaten Marv, but in the right tone of voice, so it's funny.
Uncle Fan is on his way. Yeah. He's watching.
You have to really be into the show to get it. But if you're on board with us,
to really get it, all you have to do is have listened to the last episode and then this episode.
I hope you did.
We'll catch you up right now. A Vietnamese guy made cat soup and got his restaurant shut down.
The end. And we should have never laughed at it.
We are vehemently working on reopening it. But we're going to cook dogs, and that's how we make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the talking to your cat, I mean, you asked that before. It's okay for us. I'm constantly talking to my cat. What I find interesting about Lily, my cat's looking at me in my eyes when I'm talking to it, which I don't recall that with a dog really. Like Lily, like when she wants something, she looks up at me and she's like really trying to make a connection and saying whatever she's saying to me. It's hard for me to not know what's going on. Now, pretty simple. The cat wants to eat some food. My cat doesn't want to go outside, so there's really just one thing. One time, we forgot to put water down for her for like a day, and she was saying stuff to us, and we were like, I don't know what the fuck this motherfucker's talking about. And then she started drinking out of the toilet bowl.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, but at first I was like, look at this dirty bitch right now. And I'm like, oh, no, wait, there's a reason. She's an animal who needs water. And then I ran and gave her water.
So she's not a very vocal cat, is what you're saying. And when she's vocal, it's because of she really is like clamoring for
She's
something.
become more vocal over the years. She talks to us a lot. I mean, she's always kind of walking in and out of her room saying some stuff to us.
Because it's not always about food. You know, some cats like will greet you when you come home with a meow. And it's like a clear, like, it feels the most like they're saying something you can understand. Like, hello.
It's never a hello.
It's never a hello, but it's a sound that
sounds like a...
Like you just got home and the cat's telling you to fucking...
Where have you been, motherfucker? I've been waiting here. You know, and also she does that to us a lot when we come home. And she's like, where have you been? But clearly she was sleeping all day. Like she's still stretching and kind of like waking up. And I'm like, you can't be mad. You were sleeping in the exact same spot that I left you in.
Yeah. I think Marv kills the time that he knows nobody's going to be at home by just sleeping it off. He just wishes it away. The time goes away because he can't
I've
stand
had days
to
like
not
that.
have us
You ever
around.
have days where you're like, I got money problems and I can't afford to do anything. I'm just going to...
Yeah, can we just fast forward to tonight?
Yeah.
I mean, there were times in New York City where I would fill up on water just so I had a full belly to go to sleep.
And Lily couldn't even do that
You couldn't
because
even
you
get
didn't put it down.
Dude, here's a question that just popped into my head that's not on the rundown, but it is odd to me that is like people own pets and they speak in their language to those pets and also in other countries. And is the cat getting the same amount of information, or is there a cat who like knows Spanish but doesn't know English?
Well, if you take two cats that are siblings that are born at the same time and you give one, and they're twins or say as closely genetically related as you can,
Separate them immediately.
You give one to an American guy and one to a Spanish guy, and they both interact with it similarly. I imagine they're going to pick up on about the same amount of words. Now, if you switch those cats, I imagine that they have learned words and things, and So it's not just energy. Like I did read that cats are capable of learning up to 30 words. That sounds about right.
But 30, I mean, like, what I can't think of more than 5 things that Marv has responded to. I know dinner.
Yeah, a lot of food
he
words.
Likes that. He likes outside. And I think that might be it. I don't know any other words that he's really that. Treat,
chicken, and fishies. That's about all I can think of. Shrimps.
Lily just sort of reacts to her name. I find that interesting.
Yeah.
See, Marv, we barely ever call him Marv. We mostly call him like Kitty or Butthole, or we have these alternate names for him. So he more responds to like Kitty. Like if we're talking about him, his ears will perk up if we use the word Kitty. But it doesn't happen when we say Marv.
I actually don't know that like Lily really like we don't use the same words over and over again, trying to get her to recognize a word. So
but
like
you do
I
accidentally anyway.
I don't have. Yeah, I think like I don't know, just the kind of the cadence. She's really running off of my cadence.
When I say Gutfeld, Greg runs right to the TV and he's like, "Here we go, politic comedy time.
Time to laugh finally. This is better than the Stump Channel."
Yeah, I just feel like I haven't really practiced that, like I haven't said the same word like chicken or treat in a way where like, do you want a treat? It's more like
because you don't give her treats.
I mean, she's constantly eating.
But do you? So this was what this sounds like to me. You don't baby talk your cat.
I do,
because that is what cats respond to the most. I think is that tone. That's just for them. That's clearly not for the other people in the house.
Yeah,
You guys want an example of a cat knowing the word treat?
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, you want a treat? Oh, is he behind the closed door?
He's clawing at a door.
He might be. I think Deirdre has him in the bedroom.
Well, no treat then.
Greggy.
Sorry, Greg.
You want a
False
treat,
alarm.
buddy? Oh, he thinks you have it?
Now, is
Greg.
he reacting to treat, or
Yeah.
just you're kind of like the way you
Treat.
say it?
I would say
I'll
say
just go,
treat.
treat. Greggy, want a treat? Woo!
The
dog
several
came too.
animals have showed up.
Greggy, come here. I got a treat, buddy.
He doesn't have a treat. That's the worst part. You got to go get a treat now.
Come on, bud.
Poor Greg.
So let us talk a little bit while we can about the science of this. I think meowing is kind of the biggest thing we've been talking about. This is how cats communicate the most with us, is meowing. And so there are some like scientific facts about meowing. Obviously, the first one is that they're trying to imitate our voices, or some people say they're trying to sound like a baby in distress because that's what gets us up off our asses and does something to them. But there are the different types of meow generally have different meanings according to cat scientists. So a short meow.
Now, are we cat scientists?
I think by now.
I mean, we've done a bunch of episodes of this show.
We just did the street experiment and it sort of worked. But the short
it
meow
worked out for the animals who are all munching down right now.
They know how to scam you, Adam. I think they know how to get you.
Yeah, Adam's like, look, my cat can recognize my words.
Yeah.
And then he's just like rubs his fingers together and everybody gets like 10 treats.
You should have done the thing that he put where you put the treat in your pocket. And we'll see how far Greg's willing to go.
Oh, I think Greg's willing to go pretty low for that treat in the pocket.
So the short meow is.
Does it sound like this?
That's a little longer than short.
Okay.
I think the short meow. Have you ever heard the like? Meow? Have you ever gotten?
Yeah,
like,
I've heard
the quick
meeps and moops. Yeah.
So
sure.
that. I feel like that is the most common greeting I get from Marv when I come inside, or when I do something that he wants, like when I've achieved when we've achieved an understanding. Because I feel like I'm pretty good, much better than Natalie, at understanding what Marv wants, and so I think. His little meow, his
now,
short
I know
meow.
Natalie doesn't listen to this podcast.
Good.
You would never
Yeah.
say that.
No, and let's not make this the clip either. But that short meow, I think it means thank you or hello. It's like a good, it's like a nice job.
Have you ever? I don't want to skip past this. We can go back to the short meows. Have you ever seen your cat do a fully silent meow?
Yeah, it's precious and also kind of sad. Like to me, it's like can I have some more, please? Like there's like a little bit of Oliver Twist in like that. It's
fully
just
you hear
silent.
nothing.
It's just
I've heard those too, but
Yeah.
it's just
like
just looking at you and just a meow, but just can't muster up a sound. Like
I've been like, did my hearing go? Like, is my hearing gone? I need to hear something else real quick.
You start shaking him.
Yeah.
Say something.
And like, she's good.
what's the silent meow? Do we know?
I've
Not
never.
on the list.
Marv is never silent. He's always talking. So I've never heard it.
I usually see it when it's like they just woke up or something. It's like they're so tired. It's just like can't muster up the energy for a full meow.
For Lily, when she does like the silent meow, it's really like I'm on the couch or something. I'm like sitting somewhere, and she like jumps up and like kind of has my eye contact. And then is like, listen, you're looking at me right now, so you don't need the noise, but I'm just letting you know I'm pining for something.
Yeah,
either a pet or a treat or a something.
So that is what the mid-pitch meow is supposed to be, is what they've narrowed down, that mid-pitch, that like, that yearning sound. Kind of like that. I think maybe everybody's cat has their own version of that, but that is the length of meow and the pitch that you're looking at when a cat is trying to say, I want food or water. That's like the basic needs.
It sounds like I'm asking for something, but I'm not screaming, because we all know the like I'm screaming at you meow, which is the morning meow, whatever. But
and that I'm screaming at you, at least the way Marv does it, and I've done this impression many times on the show, is the long drawn out meow.
Yeah.
So Marv can go for a long time on one meow. He can be like meow. He can like go that long.
Greg in the morning is more of just like a
yeah.
And I mean, you guys, no one wants me to go longer than
That-
that.
Is
But it
that
goes
really
longer.
how it is?
Yeah.
Lily does
He
none
will
of
sit
this.
right up there by his dish, because what his thing goes off at like 5 a.m, and then when we get up around like 8 or 9 a.m, he wants to he wants another snack.
You want second
Yeah.
breakfast.
He gets a little snack when we get up.
And that is, I'm annoyed at you. That is like, I've had enough of this bullshit. Wake up. Or I've had enough of this not giving me my dinner. Give me my fucking dinner. Or not taking me out in Marv's case. Like, the longer the meow, the more he's trying to be like, are you deaf, idiot? You should be listening to me. I'm trying to tell you clearly that I want blank.
It's interesting. In my mind, it's like, well, maybe Lily's like not old enough to do this yet. But Greg is Lily's age, right? How old's Greg?
Greg's 5 and a half.
And has he been doing the loud meows for a while?
Yeah, ever since I got him.
I think
Lily's
that's what I'm saying.
Lily's like 4 or 5. Or
I've
something.
observed this
Maybe
taking
she's
care
older.
of Lily, that she's not especially vocal. And she's pretty quiet when she does meow.
Yeah, no, she does. I mean, she really doesn't have I haven't heard her do like a loud, angry meow ever. I mean, she has, she has meow, but I don't even get like if she's locked behind a door or somewhere. there's some meowing, but there isn't like a panic meow or anything like that. There just isn't.
She's never done the long drawn out meow. She's never been like
No.
so forward as to be like vocally annoyed with you.
The annoyed is when we come in and we haven't been around during the day.
So it's a look. She's giving you a look.
No, it's like meow 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 meow. Like it's like a fast like I'll fucking do the dishes, you son of a bitch.
So she's like trying to construct sentences, kind of.
Yeah, it's like, and there's a lot of, and we're getting into it obviously, but there's a lot of like physicality there. I think, the headbutting and that sort of thing, and the rubbing up against our legs. And there are meows attached to that, but I know the meow that you guys are sort of describing that your cats do. She really doesn't do that ever.
Wow.
It's,
that's polite. That's honestly
it is.
Good
She only
girl
makes
stuff.
kind of like super cute noises too. I think it's next.
I just heard soup.
Well, we have the low pitched meow. The low pitched meow is the one that is actually genuine discomfort, like
The
being
guttural
hurt,
one?
like
I've never heard Greg do it,
yeah,
but
and
I've
Marv
had other
hasn't
cats
done it
do it.
enough, and like that can be like a your cat's in some pain or they're not feeling good or something like that. So that's a meow to look out for. But this is not an exact science. I think some people have observed their cats doing the exact opposite of this. But I kind of saw this list as being pretty accurate when it comes to Marv. Like these are kind of the ways that Marv meows and what they usually mean. And we'll get to that later too, because I have some Marv meows for you guys.
Oh, I'm pumped about that. I want to say, Nick, you talked a couple times. First, when Lily jumped on the couch, and then there's a couple times you said with the eye contact with the cats. Do you know? And I've learned this a lot over the years. Cats straight eye contact can be like threatening and weird, but like slow blinking is like kind of like a comfort level for them.
Well,
so I literally on the
We
couch.
had a whole debate about
we
this.
had we talked about this on this podcast.
Oh, we have?
Now
I
what,
slow
That
blink at
episode
Greg
might not
all the time.
exist anymore.
what our pussy friends don't know is I lost like 6 episodes of this podcast, so we
Yeah.
actually don't know what has come out and what hasn't.
One
it's
that
a little
we're
foggy.
happy about.
Yeah, and one that we're gonna lose that we're
Right.
unhappy about. Anyway, so we talked about this a little bit, but our fallen comrade never heard of the slow blink before.
Yeah, Zach Broussard kind of embarrassed himself. Let's just say it. Kind of humiliated himself by not understanding what the slow blink meant.
But the slow blink is supposed to be, when you have like a connection with your cat, they'll slow blink and you slow blink back and you
Yeah.
can communicate back and forth
Yeah.
with it. But no, when I'm saying like looks in my eyes, it's not. That's not what.
You
Usually,
guys aren't like staring each other down.
No,
Cats
but
don't like to be
also
stared at.
like that slow blink usually happens. She's like in her cat bed. She's like content, happy. We're all home. She looks at me. We're slow blinking at one another. It's a lot of fun. But when she's wanting from me and it's an eye contact, it's like she'll jump up on my lap and like try and get. She knows where the power is.
She's
like
trying to
where
make
the
you
brain
uncomfortable.
is. And she's like, I'm here. I'm looking at you. You can't avoid me. And we're looking at each other. And I find that to be kind of interesting that she knows to like get up in my face
Yeah.
and like that. She's not like staring at my like foot,
Right.
like trying to get it to do something. She knows that the power is coming from the head area.
I think cats know what eyes do. And so they look at your eyes and they know, at least between the two of you, that these eyes are where I want to be looking, that's how he's looking at me.
yeah. And
So that's kind of a higher level of thought
yeah.
that a cat has. Somewhat.
But what that mouth do? That's what we
What
wanna-
that mouth do. That's our next category. Is
They
what
definitely see stuff go in your mouth. I mean,
Oh, you think Greg's ever looking at you like eating a sandwich, going, "Fuck, man, I need to eat that sandwich."
Oh my! He sits here on the ledge as I'm putting stuff in my mouth. He will put his paw out and try to redirect it to
Yeah.
his mouth.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's pretty funny.
It is pretty
And sometimes
funny.
you let him do it. You're like, yeah, a little piece of chicken. I
very
don't know.
cavalier. My cat has gotten that way too lately, and I don't know if it's old age or more comfort with us,
oh,
but
boy.
he's like right up on my plate. He doesn't care that this is dad's food.
I totally get when cat owners are like, I'm gonna draw the boundary and not let them think they can get up on my grill like that. But I'm the kind of cat owner where I'm like, I don't care how.
I said last episode that we just allowed Lily to pull a slice of pizza down off our plate, and we
right.
laughed about it because we were punch drunk.
The thing is, I just cook too well to feed it to Mark.
That's true. Yeah. So okay, we've talked a lot about meowing, but there are other ways that these cats like to communicate.
Right. Well, the big one, the big P, purring.
There we go.
This is a very specific type of thing because I think a lot of people really think about purring as like, oh, your cat's happy and that's a happy sound. But there's actually a lot of information about purring that we don't know. Like scientists don't know exactly where the purr comes from. They really haven't even narrowed
It's
down
funny.
how they make the sound.
I saw this on your breakdown and then went deeper, and it's funny because some places say they have figured it out, but they figured it out by like blowing air through certain it's
blowing
like
up a cat's ass and seeing what happens on the.
No, I mean, it's like, oh man, do you remember that thing a few years ago where they had like a mummified body that was however many thousand years old, and like this is what it would have sounded like,
Right,
and they
right.
blew
And it was
air.
like, oh!
Yeah, because they
like
just
the
like blew
funniest-
air through the trachea.
Like, this is what Pharaoh Imhotep sounds like.
Scientists were able to mimic Nessie Amun's voice by recreating his mouth and vocal cords with a 3D printer. It allowed them to produce a single sound.
So I've seen like similar studies where they're like, we blew air through here and it made that vibration.
Yeah.
So they have an idea of where it comes from. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of questions still with.
They think it's the laryngeal muscles, the larynx, and it's stimulated through this part of the cat's brain that like starts oscillating back and forth quickly, and that like reverberates through the cat, and that's what causes the purring.
So we
sound.
also don't really know, like we assume that it's just when they're in sort of bliss, right? I mean,
Yeah, and that is a main one, but really they do it to soothe themselves. So it could be like
it's like
I'm
sucking your
happy.
thumb or something.
Yeah,
and
or it
rocking
could
back
be
and
like
forth.
I'm stressed and I'm doing this to soothe myself. Or it could be like I'm hurt. Cats purr when they're hurt.
Yeah, they do it when they're hurt, which is supposed to be so. I've heard things before about they do it because it's like whatever the frequency the purr is at is like promotes healing,
Yeah.
or whatever. Or it could be a thing that just comforts them, like some sort of, I don't know, fidget or massaging themselves, whatever.
Well, have you ever has it been like a like a snowy day? I guess not in LA for a while, but like a rainy day, a gloomy day outside, but you're in bed and it's cold out, but you're in your hot, warm bed and you just can't help but be like, this is good. Make a sound like bed.
Okay, so no, never. But
Sometimes I'm in bed and I'm just going like,
Yeah, that's a good purr.
Thank
yeah.
you.
How's mine?
Sounds
You're
like
like one
that
of those-
Pharaoh guy.
Wait, hold on. What about this one?
Oh
That's
my
how
God.
Lily purrs. Is that weird? She puts her index finger between
Yeah, well,
her-
after you bonk her on the head with a mallet, then she starts doing it.
and then her eyes turn into anvils.
little birds start floating around her head, and then she eats them.
and then
She
she
eats
eats
them.
those.
So, okay, so Lily, now she doesn't scream and yell. She's not doing loud guttural purr or guttural meows. But in the morning, when this motherfucker wants to get fed, because we do not have an auto feeder, she comes into our bedroom and she basically lays on our head or our chest and she purrs in our face as loud as she possibly can.
So there is a term for that I looked up during this research that I had no idea about. It's called the solicitation purr. It's a purr that's not I'm happy. It's like you're gonna need to do something to make me happy, or like can I? It's like a please, daddy, can I have some food?
Yeah.
And that's like it's like a purring that's just trying to get you to do something, just like the meow is, but this is less.
little
Yeah,
fucks.
it's less aggressive. It's their less aggressive way of getting you to do something.
She hears a movement, then she comes into the room,
Uh-huh.
and then she will kind of hop up on our bed and she'll start the purring. And sort of she walks over us. She'll sleep with us for a little bit. A lot of purring. And then when that doesn't work, she moves to items in the room.
Yeah.
She jumps on a thing and she starts chewing on a bag.
Yeah.
She knocks a can on the ground, a seltzer can, you know.
When Marv does that, I call it protesting.
Right.
Yeah.
There is like another level of like, oh, you don't like the cute stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I call
Yes.
it rioting.
Yeah, because that is what she's trying to do. I know that's what Marv's trying to do. Is like, I love you so much, and I'm so cute. Look at how cute I am, and how much I love my dad. He should give me some food for being such a good boy.
I used to do this.
And then you're like, well, you're not eating yet. And you're like, oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Dad.
And then he's like a sullen teen.
I'm going to knock your Offspring album off the...
When I was a kid, I would wake up earlier than my brother's like less than 2 years younger than me. So we're around the same age. So we'd play and do stuff together. My little brother he'd usually sleep later than me. And so the dining room was downstairs under his bedroom. And if like, I don't know, 9 o'clock or whatever rolled around and he wouldn't be up yet, I would just go into the dining room and I would loudly pace around the dining room table and just go like, I'm basically just making noise, trying to get him to wake up and come out and play with me.
We said that cats have the brain of a 2-year-old, basically, on the Mind of a Cat show.
Or a 9-year-old me.
But kids act like that. I wanted people to wake up if I was awake, and I wanted to do so. I want to start the day. And I know that that's what Marv's trying to do. It doesn't even have to be just about food. Sometimes I think it might be him just like trying to see if we're still alive or something, He's just trying to figure out all right, it's the sun is up. What are we doing here?
We are their entertainment as well. Like other than the window, basically that's why they're watching us so much. They're they're trying to see what we're doing.
The knocking stuff down. It's not happening, at least in my home, like when we're not around.
Yeah.
Do stray cats and wild cats do this in a way where they knock a tree branch down to get like something else? Or is this something that they just pets developed?
I think pets for sure.
Pets know that humans love their shit.
I think so.
And it's like, well, they're always looking at all this shit. What if I fucking knocked one of these things down?
I think they do know what we like, and because Greg's is very targeted. If I'm not getting up and he wants me to get up, he could go around our bedroom and find a million things to knock over, but he goes and he knocks over my phone off the thing because I'm on my phone all the time, and so he goes right up to that and knocks it off the table. And the other thing I probably have in the bedroom a lot is I'll have my I have a water bottle that is no longer. I used to have a glass of water up on the thing. Now I have a water bottle with a top on it that is on the floor by the bed in between like the nights, so he can't fully knock it over. But he's down there batting at it and stuff because he knows it's a thing I like. Again, I know we're not scientists, and you're like, Danny, do they do this in the wild? Maybe they try to get each other's attention in the wild by knocking rocks over or something.
Yeah.
But,
or they bite each other.
Yeah.
I mean, at least Marv isn't really doing that. I mean, when he bites, it's like sometimes he's overstimulated or something, and it's that. But he doesn't bite to get my attention. He doesn't bite because he's angry at me. Like, he does these things when he's angry at me or trying to get... Like, he will put his paw on top of my MacBook and just push it closed.
Which is such a dick move.
That was pretty good because we had like a production Zoom a couple weeks ago, and that happened. Marv started like eyeing it up. You see him walk through in the background and kind of look, and then all of a sudden you see kind of like an ear by the thing, and then all of a sudden Danny was gone. It was it was like, oh, sorry, Marv knocked the computer off the bed. Sorry, guys.
And he's doing all the other things that are associated with like I love you stuff, like rubbing on me and hooked tail and rubbing his tail, and you think it's supposed to be nice, but it's actually like kind of a fatal attraction type of love, I guess, where it's like, don't ignore me.
Yeah,
I love you. These people don't love you.
Yeah,
this computer doesn't love you as much as I do, so I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna sit on the keyboard. All right, so let me run through all the other sounds that I researched. See if your cats do these. Chirruping. Do you know the chirrup? It's kind of a mix of a meow and a purr.
Yeah, we call that kind of like a little cooing while they're
Yeah.
They
No,
both do
that's
that.
not the chitter chatter.
No,
That one?
chattering is different, and
Yeah,
I'll
that
get to
one's
that
weird.
one. Chattering is your cat is either really excited or really anxious, and the chirrup is more of like the greeting sound, or like like kind of like the short meow, but it's like the I guess trilling also is a name for it, but like that.
Now that's good.
It's like an introduction to a conversation.
Lily we used to call it sort of chirping, but when we got Lily, she only did that. She did not meow. She would just kind of go whoop, 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 and make those sort of noises. And then as she got older and I guess more comfortable, she started to meow. Like I remember hearing her meow for the first time. She may just be like a stunted cat.
She's
in that
young.
way.
It sounds similar to Holiday's mostly a chirper purr, and then like those late night loud toy meows. That's not like her normal. That's not like a meow she does in front of us. She's mostly chirps in front of us.
Now I want to point out it is chirrup,
Right.
not chirp. So just so that the true cat lovers listen.
So it's like a churro mixed with a chirp.
It's a churro. It's like a hiccup and a churro.
Okay.
Okay.
Copy.
Good.
But that's like a greeting. Also, by the way, if your cat turns and shows you its butthole, that's also like a hello to cats.
Yeah. Well,
So-
Greg is saying hello to me constantly.
Yeah, Marv always.
and I'm
Marv
saying
really
hello
likes to-
back.
All right, so then there's yelping, which I think
did I say hello to you guys when you walked in today?
You chirruped.
Okay.
Well,
Yelping is like a pain thing. If you've heard the yelp, it's a horrible sound.
I mean, to me, a yelp is you step on a paw. Or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. And so that's a
tail.
sound we all know and love. And then I talked about chattering, and then obviously hissing is you fucked up. You did
Yeah.
something fucked
Gosh.
I think I've heard Greg hiss twice.
Yeah,
in the,
Marv has only hissed at me once and Natalie once.
What were they for?
The one at me was I was doing this thing. I was doing this thing where I was like kind of smacking his tail, like he would sort of smack it at me. I thought we were playing a game, and then I would just kind of smack it back, like trying to sort of cats don't like anything involving their tail.
And he was telling you with that tail slapping you, he was telling you to stop. When
because
that tail goes and it kind of twitches at you, that's like to me, I'm getting the communication of like, chill, you're overstimulating me, and like I don't really like what you're doing.
Yeah, and it takes a lot. It takes a whole lot of obliviousness on my part for Marv to get so mad that he hisses. And also, actually, I will say there have been times where he's tried to run away. He's hidden under the porch, and then I have to try to grab him and take him out, and he'll kind of hiss or get a little bit ornery at the fact that I'm trying to pull him out from under the porch, but he can't be there all night, God damn it.
Yeah.
So I have to do it. I forgot what Natalie did, but it wasn't good. He didn't like it.
I don't think Lily's ever hissed at me. Is Greg hissing
Greg's
at you?
hissed twice at me. One time was he jumped out of his litter. He was in his litter box for so long, and you could tell something was. This was before he got on the medication for his urinary thing, and so he had a bladder thing, and he jumped out of the litter box and was in the tub in there, and I went up to see if he was okay, and he hissed at me without me doing anything, so I knew he was in pain. So I was
Yeah.
and the other time I was trying to cut his head off.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to make soup
No,
somehow.
The other time I remember doing it is it was saying he was under the bed and he wouldn't get out from under the bed, and I think I tried to actually pull him out from the base of his tail, and he did not like that at all.
Yeah,
either,
but
so.
sometimes you got to show him who's boss. Like, all right, at the end of the day, I am stronger.
Holiday hisses at me multiple times a day.
Yeah, Holiday's hissed at me.
Yeah, I mean she just, and also it's weird with Holiday. Greg's hissed. I've never gotten when Holiday hisses. Sometimes she'll be just on your chest, purring, laying on you, and then out of nowhere she just hisses. And it's weird.
I also want
That's
to point out I
scary.
wasn't doing anything wrong.
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
want
sure you
Deirdre
weren't.
to know me and Holiday have a good relationship
She'll
when
hiss,
I'm here.
she does the same thing with Deirdre. She does with everybody. But Holiday will do it sometimes, and she's right up in your face when she hisses at you. And I mean, I'm sure we've all gotten a whiff of our cat's breath every now and again. My cat, neither of them seem to have that bad of breath. It's just it's not awesome, but it's not But when she hisses, you're like, what is that? Some other smell comes out when
It must
she
be
hisses,
like an
and
angry
it's gross.
smell. It must
Yeah.
be like how snakes shoot venom.
Yeah, it smells like a snake venom fucking hiss.
Well, so mostly cats, when they communicate with other cats, we'll just do this part, is body language. And so if you want to see how cats really talk to each other, because cats can actually understand each other's meows on top of the physical stuff.
How do we know that?
Cat science. That's what I always go back to, and a little bit of research from WikiHow. What this says about communicating with other
Do they
cats,
say WikiHow they fucking understand it? No, I don't. Sorry.
it's I think there's a lot of a scientist, or just a person in a lab coat just grabs 30 cats and watches them for a year, and this is what they came up with.
I gotta get that job.
So cats, they usually scent or they use body language. And so body language cues that we might want to know: hooked tail, good. You want to have a hooked tail, you want to get a body rub. If they're we know this stuff. Rubbing on the body, hooking the tail, slow blinking. These are all A+, your cat's into it, or it's into this other cat. When they flatten their ears, or when they stiffen their tail, no good.
Rock
No
hard
good.
tail.
Yeah, when that
not
tail
good.
gets-
What
Stiff.
what do flat ears look like?
Marv does this sometimes when he's outside. He
Are they
sees
forward?
another animal. No, yeah, they're forward, but pinched down, so you
Yeah.
can't even. Sometimes, have you ever tried to clean Lily's ears?
No.
All right. Well, we sometimes we have to clean Marv's ears, and he will flap his ear closed to keep us out of there.
Yeah.
And
so
so-
it's it's a defensive sort of.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
you're threatening me. I feel threatened. Here come the ears. You can't get in here, because that's what I guess they're trying to protect the good stuff inside.
You have to do something.
And so those are the bad body language cues. Also, I've noticed from Marv, puffed tail. If the
Oh,
tail
yeah.
puffs out, something is out there that's
Yeah.
not good. That's when we had the coyote under our porch.
Yeah.
He puffed his tail up, and I'm like, If I ever saw that, I would know
Puff
danger's
tail
coming.
usually comes with the big arched back and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Arch back,
okay.
not good either.
The coyote that sneaks under your porch.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that Greg has a puff tail. What other communication is Greg giving you, letting you know that
Marv.
there's Marv. You let me say Greg a lot.
Well, it's you get one.
Okay. What other communication is Marv giving you aside of from the puffed tail that there is like danger afoot?
Oh, I mean the cat eyes, the big cat. You know the
Cats
dilated
are going.
pupils.
The eyes are going dilated.
The eyes are wide as they go.
Plus he goes, whoa.
Yeah.
That's when
Arched back.
he sees a hottie though. The body. Awooga.
That's
Yeah.
that's what they do. You already said the hottie thing.
The straight banger head coming by.
Is that from last
Who
episode? I
knows?
can't even tell.
One time Greg saw, the first time Greg saw Holiday, his tongue fell out of his mouth, rolled all the way across the room, and he had to reel it back in.
That's just natural cat stuff.
He reeled it back in. There was like 4 greenies on it when it came back.
We'll talk about how cats' tongues are actually 60 feet long in the cat anatomy episode.
Nice.
He arched his back. Marv arched his back, and he was like slowly stepping onto the porch. He was like, apprehensively, like he was into a tub or something. But it was just the porch that he goes out on all the time.
Well,
so.
you're like, go ahead, get out there. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was like,
get
what's
out
wrong?
there,
What's
Marv?
going on? You love it out here.
And he's like, do I have to?
And so we
then
brought
you
him back
turn
inside.
around for a second, and it's like the scene in Jurassic Park where there's just you think there's a whole person behind you, but it's just an arm.
Yeah. And that's that scared the shit out of me.
That's horrifying.
Because I was like, also it was poor Samuel L. Jackson, right? That got his arm ripped off.
oh, was it?
Yeah, it was rough. But so
He
then,
said, hold on to your butts. He should have held on to his
R.I.P.
rest of his body.
His arm off.
but then, so I went underneath the porch. I kind of peeked underneath the porch, just saw like darkness for a little bit, and then eyes, and then I was like, all right, we got a problem here.
Now, did you think it might have been another cat at
It was
a point?
far bigger than another cat.
Yeah.
It was a straight coyote.
Yep. Spooky stuff, but Marv kind of tipped you off.
I trust him now to know when there's real danger going on.
It's pretty good.
Body language is a big thing with cats and people. Also, I mean, I know you talk about rubbing on your legs and stuff. I read a little bit that because I got a lot of face smashes from Greg.
Oh, headbutts, yeah.
Yeah, headbutts,
Headbutting is
which
a
I
good
believe
thing,
they're
too.
calling bunting. The head-to-head is bunting.
Bunting.
I just read that today.
It's like a soft hit. I get it.
Yeah,
Like a bunt.
yeah. But head-to-head with people, I was reading that the head-to-head. Well, also the head-to-head can be friendly and whatever, but it could also be more of a domination thing. But I really feel like with when the cat is purring and up on your thing and rub it on your head, it feels more friendly.
Yeah. What I found Marv likes to do is, especially when I'm wearing like a sweater or something, I'll like give him the headbutt and then he'll lower his head and like bury his head in my chest
Oh,
or
it's the
something like
best.
that. It's cute.
Sweet. I get the headbutting when she's trying to get my ass up. I get the purring and the headbutting.
That's solicitation purr.
But that's for the head. But normally, I'm getting that around the calf region.
That's as far as they can reach.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that stuff going on. The curling around that. I always figure that's a cat hug, right? Are we calling that a cat hug when a cat comes by and kind of wraps? How about when you feed your cat and then they come and say thank you?
Yeah, they give you the thanks.
Oh,
That-
afterwards?
Yeah, like,
Oh.
hey, that was great, dude. Thanks. Like I was like,
then it's more than you're just a food resource.
right. It's like to me the idea that like, like you would if you were just like some piece of shit who like tricks some fat guy into feeding you, like as soon as you eat that awesome food, like you're not gonna go hug the fat guy. You go, I just fucking tricked that fat guy. I'm out of here. I'll trick another fat guy.
No, this
But
is love.
she comes by and she goes, thank you. You did what I was asking, and now I give you this. I wrap my tail halfway around your leg as I flippantly walk off and go take a fucking nap.
She thinks that she's training you.
Interesting.
I
don't
think
know why. Well, who's saying this?
because she's communicating to you that she wants something. Eventually, you figure out what it is, and you give it to her.
And then she
she's
keeps doing the same thing.
Remember, when I do this, that means this is what I want. So I'm glad we're on the same page.
Well, then, if that's true, then Lily has trained me and Ashley far more than we've trained her.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
she basically came preloaded with the stuff that she does. The one thing is we've taught her that when we whistle to come to us and she'll get a treat. And so
that's helpful.
it's about as good because you don't know where your cat is. You give a good whistle and then they come out. It's helpful. So that's the one thing that we've sort of kept up. But like I know you think that Marv sits right when you're about to give Marv a treat.
He sits.
That was me.
Greg sits.
Yeah, I can. I've been able to do it before, but Deirdre can do it consistently. Deirdre like spent some time and taught him sit.
Right. Lily has none of that skill set.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But actually, I did bring some Marv meows. These are genuine Marv meows that I want to see if you guys have any insight as to what he might be saying. I'm pretty sure I remember what I was doing or what he was doing when
I know.
he
Should we
meowed
guess
these
what you were
things.
doing or what he's thinking?
I think just play it by ear. We'll listen to it. You catch any vibes that you can from Marv's genuine kitty meows. So here we go.
Oh, I know.
These are somewhere between the short and the medium ones.
Now we're not allowed to talk about things like that anymore. I was expressly forbidden.
All right, play it again.
No, we already got the clip. I'm clipping it.
You're right. I broke my own rule.
Now this sound that he makes near the end, this sound here is like a trill, I think. There's like a little bit of a chirrup or something.
Okay,
there's like a rolling of the R's.
To me, yeah, he's conjugating verbs in Spanish class.
Spanish.
He's rolling his R's.
Okay, so to me, that's a want. Mm-hmm. He wants to go out. That's Marv trying to get out of the house.
To me, that's you holding a treat until he meows because he's telling you, I want that. I know I'm going to get that treat, but I'm just telling you, I want that treat now.
Okay, so
stop messing around.
So Adam's guess is he wants food. Me is he wants to go out.
I'm going to play it one more time. Can you hear? Are there any words you can make out
from Marv?
Yeah. Let's see does any of it sound like English?
Okay. Wait a minute.
How?
Chicken noodle.
See what?
Ow.
Now this
he's
might
got a little
tomato. Wait, he
wants to be a soup.
He wants to be in a soup. Son of a bitch.
So I feel like he really is saying out because I say out.
Oh, interesting.
And so I feel like he really is kind of saying that. Now it
he's
does sound like a
starving
meow
and
too.
broke. He's saying oots, oots,
Oots.
25 cents
Oots,
oots.
salt and vinegar.
He's saying oot. He's Canadian, right? Oot.
Oot. What are you doing?
Okay, so I'm right. He wanted to go out. So is Marv standing by the door right there?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he's crying. I'm going to go get the phone. And then you caught some on the tail end?
Yeah, I was like, I need to capture some meows. Just for the future. I didn't even really think we were going to do a bit about it. I was just like, I might as well have some Marv meows on standby.
You look at his voice recordings. It's just 4,000 cat meows.
It really just is. I don't
Danny,
have any other voice
When
recordings.
we talked about doing this, he was just going to send them to me and I was going to preload them. He sent me like 10 clips.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the best ones was hard too.
We got 4 spots on that thing, and 3 of them are audience from the 60s noises.
That's from the 60s. This is clearly what I don't like. I don't know all of them, where I was and where he was and what he was thinking. So it's less of a game and more of like a let's just listen and see what we can glean from some of the rest of these, because I do like to analyze it, and I'm not exactly sure on this one what he was doing, but I thought these were good meows. I thought these were original Marv productions.
That's when I want something.
But what is that one?
To me, this is Marv is now pacing around your living room asking for dinner.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure
what-
that is what that is.
Yeah.
All of these were taken in the living room, but there are a lot of Marv requests that center around the living room. So it's just like I feel like he's trying to form words. I feel like in a way he hears us talk and he's really trying to say the right combination of words in the right way.
All right, I'm gonna try to make out. I'm gonna see if he's gonna try to say a word
I'll
in this
throw
next
in one.
one.
Yeah, I'll throw.
See if I
this
hear
is
any
a longer
words.
one. Did you hear that last?
Oh yeah, what was that, man?
Sometimes he'll go full on, like he sounds like he's gargling.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a little gargle.
He tries to go so high pitched that he like can't even sustain it. Yeah, he'll do that.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think he, you know, sometimes when you've been like, I haven't done this since I was a kid, but did you ever like cry so much that like you almost threw up?
Of course.
That's what that sounded
I had a
like.
traumatic childhood.
Yeah, man. Why don't you make a shirt about it?
I had a traumatic childhood.
That's a great idea for a shirt.
You know, I'm not too sure today's the day that we're going to truly figure out the words that Marv is saying. But
I thought we'd give it a chance to try to see if we could put together some kind of a universal cat translator, because the person who comes up with that is going to be the next Jeff Bezos.
yeah,
It might be Jeff Bezos.
the next coolest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
Well, that was a great topic, and it was great listening to Marv. Shout out to Marv. We have one more segment, and it is Cat of the Week. Is that it? Is that true?
That's true.
Okay, I didn't know.
This week's cat of the week is Tyler, the cat who was lost just a couple of days ago around the end of 2023. During a trip, he was lost at a Nevada rest stop and was found at a shelter 600 miles away in Wyoming.
Wow.
So this cat made it all the way, the wrong way, because his family's from Illinois, made it all the way to another state, not even the next adjacent state. Well, maybe it was, but 600 miles away, quite a fucking journey for this cat to take.
In like a week?
Yeah, in a week, in less than a week.
There's no way
like 4 days.
someone didn't pick this cat up and put it in a car.
Also,
You don't know
like,
what happened to the
How
cat.
do they know the cat's chipped?
Chipped.
Okay.
So the cat got chipped. The rescue people at Wyoming called his parents who were like, fuck, we just lost this guy. And so the rescue people actually arranged a service, which is just a bunch of like independent cat lovers who do a service where they take each leg of a trip to get a cat across the country to where it's going.
God, this second to last leg has been really, really tumultuous. Thank God there's only one more leg to go. Here he is, Fan Quack. Great. Could you bring this? We got one more leg to
We'll
get
never
this.
get over this cat soup.
Well, what's his name? Jeffrey?
Tyler.
Tyler. Hey, Tyler. This one's for you.
That's all I got.
It doesn't say anything in the article. We don't know. We have no idea. Of course, there's no way we're going to know
that's
how
an
he got there.
He was
insane-
reunited on New Year's Eve with his family.
How did he get to the shelter? Does anyone know? Like, did the shelter pick
Who's
him
gonna
up?
Who's gonna tell the shelter people how he got there? There's only one person in this world who knows how Tyler got there, and that's Tyler.
That has been the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to find us on the internet, go on Instagram. We are at PuzzyBoyzPod. You can email us at PuzzyBoyzPod@gmail.com. If you want your cat's name, shout it out. There's a really cool way to do it. Go over to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review, and in that review, name your cat and or cats. Folks, that's been the show. Thank you for listening. Meow.